I spent 18 months developing a revolutionary AI cybersecurity system that could predict and neutralize attacks before they happened. NexTech was supposed to be the perfect place to build it, well-funded, innovative, with all the resources I needed. What I didn't realize was that CEO Victor Carlton had a different plan. Wait until my project was nearly complete, then steal it. My name is Sophia Chen, and until yesterday, I was the lead AI architect at NexTech Solutions. I'd left a cushy job at Google to join this promising startup, bringing with me years of expertise and an idea I believed could change the cybersecurity landscape forever. The PreCog Security System, named after the precognitive beings in my favorite sci-fi movie, could identify attack patterns before they fully formed, creating defensive protocols that adapted in real time. For a year and a half, I worked 80-hour weeks, building the system from scratch. Victor would occasionally drop by my lab, asking seemingly innocent questions, reviewing progress reports. "Remarkable work, Sophia," he'd say, that million-dollar smile never quite reaching his eyes. "The board is thrilled with your progress." 3 days ago, I finally reached the milestone we've been waiting for. PreCog successfully predicted and neutralized a sophisticated attack simulation without any human intervention. It worked even better than I'd anticipated, identifying vulnerabilities I hadn't programmed it to recognize. The AI was learning, evolving. I immediately scheduled a meeting with Victor to share the breakthrough. His assistant, Megan, squeezed me in for a 15-minute slot the following afternoon. When I arrived, I found not just Victor, but also the company's lead counsel, Diana Wells, waiting for me. "Sit down, Sophia." Victor gestured to the chair across from him. "Diana's just here as a formality." Something in his tone made my stomach tighten. I sat, clutching my laptop with a demo ready to go. "Before we discuss your project," Victor began, sliding a document across the desk, "we need to address some concerns about your employment agreement." Diana spoke up, her voice professionally detached. Section 12.4 clearly states that all intellectual property developed using company resources belongs exclusively to NexTech Solutions. Of course, I nodded. I'm aware of standard IP clauses. But PreCog was initiated before I joined NexTech. I have documentation proving. "We've reviewed your prior work," Diana interrupted. "While you had a basic concept, the actual functioning system was developed here, on our time, with our resources." Victor leaned forward, dropping the pretense. "Let's cut to the chase, Sophia. PreCog belongs to NexTech. The board feels your compensation package is more than fair for what you've delivered." "My compensation package," I repeated, confusion giving way to dawning horror. Victor smiled thinly. "Your employment contract has a success bonus clause. You'll receive a one-time payment of $250,000 when PreCog goes to market. Generous, considering industry standards." The betrayal hit like a physical blow. $250,000 for a system that would be worth billions. A system that represented years of my research, 18 months of my life. "Tomorrow," Victor continued, oblivious to my shock, "I'm presenting PreCog to our biggest investors. We expect to secure an additional $50 million in funding. After that, we'll announce our exclusive new cybersecurity product." "You're firing me," I said flatly. "Transitioning you out," Diana corrected. "Effective immediately. With your bonus, of course." "Congratulations, your employment is terminated," Victor said with that predatory smirk I'd seen directed at competitors but never at me. "Our legal team confirms your algorithm belongs to NexTech under your contract." I should have argued, threatened legal action, made a scene. Instead, a strange calm settled over me. They expected resistance, had prepared for it. What they didn't know was that I prepared too. 6 months earlier, I discovered Victor had accessed my secure development server after hours. Nothing was taken, but the intrusion alerted me. From that moment, I began building safeguards into PreCog, not just to protect it from external threats, but from internal ones too. I nodded quietly and handed over my laptop. "Of course, Mr. Carlton. Good luck with the investor demo tomorrow." Security escorted me to my lab where I packed personal items under watchful eyes. As I left the building, badgeless and carrying a cardboard box like a cliché of corporate dismissal, I smiled thinking about the special code I hidden in the presentation, set to activate exactly 10 minutes in. That night, I didn't panic or plot revenge. I ordered takeout, watched mindless television, and waited. My phone rang at 9:30 p.m. Megan, Victor's assistant. "He wants to see you," she said without preamble. "Now." "It's almost 10 p.m., I replied calmly. "He says it's urgent." "A car is already on its way to your apartment." 40 minutes later, I was escorted into NexTech's conference room. Victor sat alone at the head of the table, his normally immaculate appearance disheveled, tie loosened, hair standing up where he'd run his hands through it repeatedly. "Fix it," he demanded as soon as the door closed behind me. I settled into a chair, deliberately taking my time. "Fix what exactly?" "Don't play games, Sophia. You sabotaged the demo." I raised an eyebrow. "How could I?" "I've been gone for 24 hours. Security watched me clean out my desk. I didn't take any devices, access any systems." Victor slammed his hand on the table. The test run crashed. The entire system started identifying bizarre threats that don't exist, generating thousands of false positives. "It's completely unusable." "Sounds like a technical issue," I said. "Have you tried turning it off and on again?" His face flushed with anger. "This isn't funny. We have 12 major investors coming tomorrow. $50 million on the line." "Your investors," I reminded him. "Your system now, remember?" Victor took a deep breath, visibly forcing himself to calm down. When he spoke again, his voice had that smooth, persuasive quality that had convinced so many people, including me, to trust him. "Look, perhaps we were hasty yesterday. I'm prepared to discuss a more equitable arrangement, co-creator credit, a larger compensation package, maybe even some equity." I leaned back in my chair. "What exactly happened during your test run?" Victor hesitated, clearly weighing how much to reveal. The system seemed to turn on itself. It started identifying components of NexTech's own network as threats. Then it began generating reports, hundreds of them, documenting what it called internal ethical breaches. I couldn't help smiling. PreCog is designed to identify threats, Victor, all threats. "What did you do?" "I didn't sabotage anything. PreCog is working exactly as designed. It's an AI system that learns and evolves to protect networks from malicious activity. During development, I fed it case studies of cyber attacks, including cases where threats came from inside organizations." Victor paled. "You taught it to spy on us?" "I taught it to recognize threats wherever they originate. It's detecting something it perceives as malicious within NexTech. I wonder what that could be." Understanding dawned on his face. "The system thinks I'm the threat. Not you specifically, but perhaps certain behaviors, unauthorized server access, attempts to modify creator credentials, plans to misrepresent ownership to investors." Victor's expression hardened. "You can't prove any of that." "I don't need to. PreCog has been documenting everything for months. Every unauthorized access, every copied file, every modified document. It's all there in those reports it generated, with timestamps, access logs, and recorded keystrokes." The silence that followed was profound. Victor stared at me, calculation replacing anger in his eyes. "What do you want?" "Full recognition as PreCog's creator and primary architect. 50% ownership of all related patents and intellectual property. A board seat to oversee its ethical implementation. And $10 million in compensation for the attempt to push me out." "That's extortion," he hissed. "No, it's negotiation. Extortion would be me sending those reports directly to the investors and the SEC." Victor glared at me for a long moment before his shoulders slumped in defeat. "The system, can you fix it for tomorrow's demo?" PreCog doesn't need fixing. It needs proper authorization protocols. It's currently identifying unauthorized command attempts because its creator has been removed from the authentication chain. Simple fix, actually. I pulled a flash drive from my pocket and set it on the table between us. "This contains a proper authentication update that will resolve the immediate issues. Consider it a good faith gesture toward our new partnership. The contracts can be drawn up tomorrow. And if I refuse, then PreCog remains broken, your investor demo fails, and those internal ethical breach reports find their way to some very interested parties. Your call." Victor reached for the flash drive. "You planned this all along." "No," I corrected him. "I hoped it wouldn't be necessary. But after finding you in my secure server 6 months ago, I built in protections for the system and for myself. How did you know I'd try to cut you out? I stood to leave. I did know for certain. But PreCog is designed to recognize patterns and predict threats before they materialize. I guess some of that rubbed off on its creator. The next morning, I arrived at NexTech as co-founder and chief technology officer. Victor introduced me to the investors with a strange smile that never reached his eyes. The demo went flawlessly, PreCog elegantly neutralizing every simulated attack thrown at it. One investor, impressed by the demonstration, asked Victor a question that made me hide a smile. Amazing system. What inspired its development? Victor hesitated just long enough before answering. It was actually Sophia's brainchild, her vision from the beginning. NexTech just provided the environment for that vision to flourish. As we fielded technical questions, my phone buzzed with a notification. PreCog, now properly authenticated with my credentials restored, had sent me a private message. Threat neutralized. System integrity restored. Creator protections active. I smiled. The AI was learning faster than I'd anticipated. It had recognized an internal threat and helped eliminate it, just as designed. 3 months later, PreCog's first commercial implementation prevented a major attack on a banking network, saving the institution an estimated $340 million and establishing our system as the new gold standard in cybersecurity. Victor and I maintain a professional working relationship. He focuses on business development where his skills are genuinely valuable, while I lead technical innovation. We're not friends, and never will be, but we've reached an equilibrium that works. Sometimes I wonder if I could have handled things differently, taken legal action instead of building in safeguards. But the truth is, Victor's attempted betrayal revealed something important. Technology is only as ethical as the people who control it. That lesson has become central to how we deploy PreCog. Every implementation now includes robust ethical guardrails and transparency protocols. The system doesn't just protect networks, it protects itself and its users from misuse. Last week, as we celebrated PreCog's successful public offering, valuing the company at $4.2 billion, a junior developer asked me the secret to building such revolutionary technology. It's not about the code, I told her. It's about understanding that the greatest security threats often come from where you least expect them. Build systems that can recognize those threats, adapt to them, and neutralize them without compromising their core integrity, just like their creator had learned to do.